Hello friends, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a DIY, a botanical DIY, and I'm going to use herbs from my garden. So you could use herbs from the grocery store just as easy. In my garden I am choosing the herbs that are flowering right now, and whichever ones I feel have the prettiest color. And I'm going to go ahead and gather them and just put them in a glass of water. I want them to stay fresh until I am ready to use them. So I've actually gotten my frames and all my supplies at the Dollar Tree, and I've taken the backs off my frames. I'm going to use 6, and I'm just measuring out my herbs to see if they're going to fit and how many little pieces I want to use. Then I'm going to place them and arrange them on a piece of sketch paper. And the reason I'm using that is because it's very absorbent and it's going to help pull out that moisture. And I'm just going to fold it in half and press my iron. And I know that it might seem boring to add this part, but in the last video that I had done with iron pressed botanicals, many people asked how long I left the iron on and what setting I had it on. So you can see I flip the entire thing over and you can see the moisture. And when you press your iron down, it dries up that moisture. So I actually do this multiple times. I'll press on this side, I'll flip the entire thing back over and press on the other side. And basically when there's no more moisture on either side and you open it up and you can kind of feel, you can tell if it's dry. So last time I had done this, they lasted, I want to say about 3 years, and they probably would have lasted longer, and that's including the color. They do hold their color. You can see how dry it is here. And I'm going to use this, it's like a tile. I got it from the Dollar Tree. They have many different varieties, and you can see how thick it is here. I'm going to flip it over. You can see the outline of it on the back, and I'm just going to use that card that came in the frame to trace it out so I can cut it out. And I'm just using a highlighter. It doesn't matter what you use. And once I get that cut out, I'm going to tear off that back. It's like a sticker, and I'm going to place it on the backing of the frame. So you do need to trim up the sides to make sure that it fits, because it is a little bit thicker. So when you put the frame back together, those little pieces that are sticking out may prevent the backing from sliding into the frame perfectly. So once I get my botanicals dried, I'm going to lay them in there how I want them to look and simply place the back on. So I'm also going to use this jute. It's like decorative. I got it at the Dollar Tree, and these tags. So the tags, actually, when you cut that side piece off where the hanging part is, then it slides right into that little tag area on the frame. So at first, with this first one, I just kind of marked it with my nail as to where to cut it. But as I went on, I'm doing 6 of these, I realized that you can literally just fold that in half and cut it. It's the exact right size. So I'm going to write out my words with pen. You could use pencil. Then I'm going to go over it with a permanent marker to brighten it up a little bit, make it a little bit more visible. So the beauty about doing this, if you mess up, if you use a pencil, you can erase it, but I used a pen. If I didn't have my words centered, you could just flip that tag over and redo it on the other side. So I'm going to use this jute. Like I said, I think it's so pretty. And for 6 frames, I used 1 package, and there's 3 different styles in the package. So one style does 2 frames. And I just think it's so pretty, very farmhouse, very natural looking and organic looking. So yeah, I just really am very happy with how this looks. So I use the tile in the back. I do want to say you could use that white paper. Well, it has like a color on one side. If you flip it over, it's white. All frames have like some sort of picture that comes in it. You could use that just flipped over so it's white as the backing to put your herbs on, but I really liked that tile. It made it look very kitchen-y to me. So yep, 1 down, 5 to go. Okay, so some of you may be wondering why I'm taking so much time arranging the herbs on the sketch paper. And the reason being is, number one, I'm using that card that came in, or you could use the frame. You want it to fit in there. So you want to cut your herbs to the right size, and then you want to lay them out as they're drying. They're going to stick to each other, so that's why you want to lay them out exactly how you want them to look in the frame. They will stick to each other, and they will stick to the sketch paper as well. So some of them, when you remove them from the sketch paper, you have to be very careful pulling them off. So one of the tiles do 2 frames, so at least how I was doing it. So maybe if you turned the tile in the other direction, you could only use 1 tile per frame. But how I did it, I got 2 frames out of it. And like I said, the Dollar Tree actually has a lot of these tiles, a lot of different styles, and I actually bought a few different ones, testing them out, but they are beautiful. Absolutely love them. And they also have like a wallpaper. It looks like scrapbook paper, but really big pieces. They're calling it wallpaper. And I did get a few of those as well, and I absolutely love them. I did get a little filming done in the Dollar Tree, so I'm just going to show you those real quick. Okay, here's the footage from inside the Dollar Tree. I love that honeycomb tile. I did get some of those. That blue and white, I think it's beautiful. They have so many styles, and I really, really love these. A lot of them are very vintage looking. Some of the ones that look like brass and metal, very vintage looking. So this is that wallpaper, that's what they're calling it. It looks like scrapbook paper, and I did get a couple of these as well. Okay, back to our project here. I will say some of the herbs do change their color a little bit when they are dried. So this is a variegated sage, and I love it. I think it's so beautiful. I did cut some of the purple sage from my garden as well, but I feel like the leaves were a little bit bigger. I was trying to choose things with smaller leaves. So here's some chives. Like I said, I wanted to do this project now because this is the time of year where my herbs are flowering. So with the chives, I will say, arranging them, you want, if it's something with a flower on it, you want to use the smaller flower at the top and the biggest flower at the bottom. It just looks more symmetrical, and it looks balanced, I guess. So, and the same thing would go for flower arranging. You want to use the smaller ones at the top. So I'm just going to add my tags and finish everything up here. I absolutely love how these turned out. So you can see here what I was talking about before. I'm just going to cut that part with the string on it off, and then I fold it in half and cut it, and it's exactly the right size. So I get 2 frames from 1 tag, And I love how these turned out. I think they're so beautiful. These would make great gifts as well. So, and how pretty would these be actually hanging in a potting shed or something? Just thought of that. But like I said, I love them. If you enjoy these type of videos, make sure and like and share. And if you haven't yet, subscribed. I actually have a lot of viewers who are not subscribed yet, so make sure and do that. And I hope you're all having a great day. So I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.